got nailed. So he almost hit me.
Okay, yes, that was very dramatic. But I wanted to put together this video for all you new riders out there, especially if you're learning to ride in New York City. So let's check out this day of what I do when I ride in New York City and the hazards that I ran into or that you could potentially run into. Now, before we go on, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. And because it's kind of long, I'll leave chapters below so you can jump ahead. So let's check it out.
So, yeah, there's a lot of little things that I do that I learned through the years as a new rider here in New York City. There are little tips and tricks that you should do when you're riding. I'm gonna go through a few of them today as they come up. You want to do in New York City while riding, so you got to watch out for a lot of different things. Like that bike was just running light. One thing here's one tip number one. If I'm waiting at a red light, like for example like this, I preferably do not like to stay right behind. I always like to give myself a way out, especially here in New York City, simply because you never know if someone behind you is not going to stop. So like I'm looking at my rear view mirrors and making sure that there's no cars coming behind me. So let's say, for example, someone is coming in pretty fast, not paying attention for whatever reason. I have somewhere to go. I don't want to get squashed like a bug. So that's one tip. Another tip that I'm sure a lot of riders do is what I'm doing right now. I'm checking my rear view mirrors almost constantly, just to make sure that no cars just hit me for a reason. So look at that. I'll also, instead of my horn, I'd rather rev my engine. That's another tip. These are all these random tips just coming up as I ride here in New York City. But yeah, what I was saying is that I am, just as much as I'm looking at the road ahead of me, whether I know the street or not, potholes, I am also constantly looking at my rear view mirrors, especially when coming to red lights or any light changes, simply because you want to make sure people are paying attention. You don't want to get rear-ended when you're sitting on a motorcycle. That's something you definitely don't want to happen. So yeah, so I'm always, I don't know, like 30% of the time, maybe even more, while I'm scanning in my front, I'm also checking my rear view mirrors constantly, but mostly when I'm at lights. Another thing to consider too is that whenever the lights suddenly change, like first, like this just turned green and this guy's blocking, I do like to check my intersection and make sure no one's trying to run the light.
For newer riders, especially if you're learning to ride here in New York City like I am, is that when you come up to red lights like we are coming up right now, what I am constantly doing, even when before I'm even coming to a stop, you know, obviously throw it in neutral, but I'm constantly checking my rear view mirrors. Why? I want to make sure that the car coming up behind me isn't going to slam into me. So something I do constantly is I don't know what the percentage is, and I'm looking at my mirrors, but 30-40% of the time I'm looking at my mirrors just to make sure any cars coming up behind me don't slam into me. Like for example, right now there's a cab coming up to me. Most likely he sees me, but just in case, if he's not paying attention, I do give a look and I watch him to make sure he's slowing down. That way, if I need to, I can get out of the way. So that's one of my tips. Another tip, if you come to a situation like this. Okay, for example, see how we're coming up to this car over here? Let's try to turn green beforehand. Rather than, let's say I'm waiting for a red light like I am now, rather than waiting directly behind him, what I like to do is I like to give myself space and somewhere to go. Let's say just say for example, I couldn't go that way, but I do like to give myself space. So, and when I position my motorcycle where I have somewhere to go in case the vehicle behind me decides not to stop or isn't paying attention. So, like once again, like I pay the most attention when riding in the city, most likely at intersections. Oh, here's another example. Coming onto here, there's a bike path. I do have the green, but one thing I always look out for is bicycles. You got people on bicycles or e-bikes or whatever who will just fly through and not pay attention either way. So I always like to make sure that there are no bicycles coming up the stop sign. Something like this. I'm just going to edge a little and look, even though I know there's one away, and I'll gun it. And then even though I just made that right and I know it's my space, I still did check my right just to make sure no car was trying to cut around the right side. Other tips and tricks. We're not supposed to split lanes, but what I do a lot, another tip, trick is that I'll go ahead and move to the front of the line if there is space, simply because I don't want to, I don't like being behind vehicles, just so I have somewhere to go. It's just safer that way. You know, I'm not going to try to race this guy. He apparently knows that I'm doing this, but that's okay. I try not to stay behind cars when, oh, let's see if I can make this. I got 12 seconds. Okay, here's another good example. When intersections where lights are about to change, I am keeping hyper aware because A, pedestrians or bikes might be trying to cross it quickly before the light changes, or B, a car may not be paying attention and pass through. Here's another thing, good example here. There's a bunch of one-way streets here in New York City. As you can see here, what am I on? Hudson and Barrow. This is a one-way street, meaning the traffic is coming from the right going left. What I like to do, like coming up with this one over here, one way, I'm gonna pay attention to the right, just to make sure there's no one running the light. And that becomes critical, especially when the light's about to change. When you have people who are trying to make the light, and they barely make it, or that, you know, they run the red, and let's say if the timing with you is, you know, to the point where, you know, you'll be crossing, that was a situation we just passed right there. You're gonna have a lot of trucks, you know, delivery trucks or whatever, just parked right in the lane. So you have to keep hyper aware. You have to be vigilant about and predict what these other cars could do. One thing I pay extra attention to are like plates that are not from this state, simply because I know these are probably people visiting, that they're bad, not that they're bad drivers, but they may not be familiar as to where to go. So I like to either, you know, get out of their way, or just keep an eye out on them. Just because this guy might suddenly change lanes, because, oh, he realized that's the restaurant he wants to go to. So little things like that. See, also another thing, just watch out for the cabs and any like this car. Oh, did you see that right there? Boom. That car is a perfect example. That car just crossed all the way over suddenly. That's a Livery guy. So that's a perfect example why you keep aware. And see, that's what I was going to say is any license plate with a T on it, or yellow cabs obviously, are going to be the Uber/Lyft drivers, and they will make sudden turns just like what you just saw over there. So that's another tip. Keep an eye out for those kind of vehicles, because they will suddenly change lanes. Like look at that guy flew like 2 to 3 lanes just to, here's an example, yellow, I'm watching my left, just in case. Perfect, see? So, I have the green here, but you'll notice bikes and people, see it's red, but they're still going, so I like to pay attention to that. One thing you'll notice too, when I'm riding, here, I hardly use my horn. The reason why, listen to this, it's lame. So what I like to do, I like to, instead of using my horn, I used to rev my engine. That's gonna bring more attention to you than the horn, and that's just the truth. So I like to do that instead. Oh man, did I put myself in a position now? I'm in a good spot. Okay, here's a perfect example. It's green, watching my right, just in case people are gonna go for it. They're not, so I'm good. Okay. So yeah, coming to intersections, especially in one-way streets like that one I just passed, I'm taking extra attention. I'm gonna try to get around, stupid. Never mind.
Okay, sorry to break the mood, but at this point in the video, my sound went wonky. So I'm going to be doing a little commentary in the background. Sorry. So yeah, sorry, the sound gets here. So check this out. So those cabs, see that cab to the left of the screen? He just cut behind the other cab. Look at that. So close. Look at that. Like, I'll be honest with you, I didn't realize how close he was until I checked out the footage. I felt he was close when he rode by, so, but yeah, I was PO'd. But, yeah, I started riding up to him just to let him know. I'm sure he was aware. Sorry, I wasn't trying to be a dick, but yeah, he needs to watch out for other bikers. He's lucky. I'm lucky he didn't hit me. Alright, now this is, yeah, potholes. That was pretty bad.
So like right here. Oh,
Well, that one was really bad. I didn't even see that one. But at least I maintained control, so that's really important. Yeah. So with construction, you definitely want to keep an eye out for that, because it does affect how traffic suddenly flows. Like this is around like 34th and I don't know, 10th or something.
To make sure that
Pretty busy area. And traffic just started gathering up, so I started filtering. It's just safer that way. And yes, I'm realizing the wrong lane, but you know what? Gotta do what I gotta do, because I'm coming up onto Times Square.
so because of these construction vehicles,
Yeah.
stuff it does.
Yeah. See, even that big construction truck right there, people get all freaked out.
Okay, good. That's good. That's good. So here, example of
Oh yeah.
Livery.
Good examples of Livery. That's that van right in front of me, that black van. It has a T in the beginning of the license plate. So you do want to keep an eye out for
Out-of-state plates.
those kind of vehicles, on top of yellow cabs.
Uber plates. Basically.
Yeah, essentially they're Uber or Lyft drivers or private drivers. So yeah, this is on 42nd and I think 10th, but yeah, I was stuck in the middle of the intersection and I found a hole and I had to get out of there.
Cars moving out.
Yeah, see, that ambulance affects traffic. You can see people were frustrated because they're waiting, so they started.
And I know people get frustrated, including myself.
Yeah.
Let them know I'm here. I'll give them a quick
So they start speeding up. Splitting lanes. Yeah, so I decided to split lanes with filter.
Like this. Keep in mind,
But you probably can't hear. But what I'm basically saying is just, you know, keep an eye out, because I may not be the only one with that idea, and bikes and motorcycles could be flying by trying to do the same, trying to get to the front. So that's what I was saying. If you can't understand.
I tend to split lanes mostly when I'm at a stop sign.
Yeah, sorry, the sound is horrible. But hopefully this helps. And I gunned it out of there because that car behind me was pretty close.
So yeah, those are just some
Oh yeah,
survival
see that
tips.
E-bike on the right? Watch this guy. He didn't do anything wrong. He actually was in the right. But check this out. Look at the left side. Look at that girl. She wasn't even paying attention. She could have gotten T-boned by that E-bike. There's no reason she had to step out that far front.
She almost got struck by a bike.
Yeah, bicyclists, yeah, they're even more aggressive, I dare say, here in New York City at least.
She almost hit herself by other bikes.
And I'm a bicyclist too, just so you know.
So, yeah, just gotta keep hyper aware. For now, guys, hopefully the good plans.
Yep, and that's basically it. I'm saying, hey, thanks guys.
I'll see you next time.
It's coming to an end.
Alright, that's it for now, guys. If you made it this far, thank you. But hopefully you utilized the chapters to get ahead if you felt this video was too long. Now, if you have any suggestions for riding in the big city like New York City, or basically anywhere else, leave a comment below. And of course, if you like this video, don't forget to check out this video, or this video. I'll see you next time, guys, and I'll see ya. I don't like cabs.